Welcome to Book Babes. I'm Annabelle.
I'm Bree.
I'm Abby.
I'm Sadie.
It's just the four of us today, yeah?
Yep.
So today we will be reviewing What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. So the synopsis, whatever. I'm gonna read this. Bolivian Argentinian Inez Oliveira, wow, I can't talk today, belongs to the glittering upper society of 19th century Buenos Aires. And like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that's been largely left behind or forgotten. Inez has everything a girl might want, except for the one thing she yearns for the most, the globe-trotting parents who frequently leave her behind. When she receives word of their tragic deaths, Inez inherits their massive fortune and a mysterious guardian, an archaeologist in partnership with his Egyptian brother-in-law. Yearning for answers, Inez sails to Cairo, bringing her sketch pads and a golden ring her father sent to her for safekeeping before he died. But upon her arrival, the old world magic tethered to the ring pulls her down a path where she discovers there's more to her parents' disappearance than what her guardian led her to believe. With her guardian's infuriatingly handsome assistant thwarting her at every turn, Inez must rely on ancient magic to uncover the truth about her parents' disappearance, or risk becoming a pawn in a larger game that will kill her. Mummy meets Death in the Nile in this lush, immersive historical fantasy filled with adventure and rivals to lovers, romance, and shocking twists and turns. So kind of a brief summary of the book is that, she, as it says in the book, her parents die. She goes to Egypt to try and find out what happened. Her uncle keeps trying to send her home. His assistant is like super hot, but keeps like trying to send her home. She basically tricks them many times because she's smart. And she sneaks onto their boat and they don't discover her until it's like far enough that it wouldn't be the best idea to turn back. They could hypothetically still turn back, but the assistant the assistant like takes her side and helps her convince her uncle to keep going. When they get there, they're they find the tomb of Cleopatra, and
Which, if we didn't mention, there will be spoilers.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. Sorry. I'll edit a little thing, be like, this episode contains spoilers. So they find the tomb of Cleopatra, and her mother appears and is like, not dead, and is like, hey, don't trust your uncle. He's, he killed your dad.
Trying to sell all these artifacts.
Yeah, he's trying to sell all these artifacts. I need you to steal them for me, and bring them to me so that we can take them to a museum where they belong. So she like steals all these artifacts for her mom, and then when she goes to go with her mom ditches her, leaves her behind. And that's when she like realizes, oh shit, I've been tricked by my own mother.
Like basically her mom is what she said her uncle was. And she was the one.
Her mom is the bad guy.
Dun dun dun.
And so then she's like determined to fix it. Her uncle's pissed at her. The love interest, whose name I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's Whitney
Whitford.
Yeah. Anyway,
British.
So Whit's like, well, of course you fell for it. It's your mother. Like, don't be upset with yourself. And then her uncle's just like, I can't trust her. I need to send her home. And then her cousin shows up
From Argentina.
because she followed her there.
Which it took her an entire book to get there for some reason.
Yeah, it took her an entire
the
book to get
timeline
there.
is not lining up there.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I
it's
mean,
like,
if you're taking a ship from Argentina to Egypt, it's gonna take weeks.
yeah, but
Yeah,
like,
it just feels weird because we follow the main character there and then it takes like it feels
Right.
like it takes so long to get to that point.
Yeah, but she
from
was
what it
only
seems
really
like-
there for like maybe a week or two.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, she's not in Egypt long.
Yeah.
I guess, but like it just seems like the cousin left like right after she left.
She-
So
yeah,
she
she
should
must
have
have
been there
left,
like a
like-
day or two after.
Yeah, she must have
Right.
left like that day.
Yeah.
Well, but also she could have arrived at any point before they got back from, so she was only there for a couple of days
Mhm.
before they left.
Mhm.
Not even a couple of days, like a day
Yeah, it was like a day or
before
two
they left.
maybe.
So her cousin could have arrived like the next day or a couple days after, and just like ships in the night.
Mhm.
They just missed each other.
Like
I don't know,
literally.
but from
in
how
night.
how the cousin was talking, like when they finally met up with her, it seemed like she just got there because like she's like, "Oh my God, Egypt! Like I've never been here." Blah blah blah, and like it seems like she just got there.
It did feel like that, yeah.
Like from the way they were talking about her and she was talking. So
Anyway, to finish the summary, the cousin gets kidnapped. Her and Wit go to save the cousin. The cousin gets killed in front of her,
Damn.
which is horrifying. And
she gets kidnapped because they're trying to get to the mom. By the way,
they're trying,
they like think
she gets
she's the
kidnapped
daughter.
to try and get to the mom. There's a mix up. They think that the cousin is the daughter, and so cousin gets shot in front of her,
And
which
she and the cousin
I'm
are, like,
sorry
best
is the most traumatizing part of that book for me.
Yeah.
Like and like then the uncle comes and saves them, and God, it was like so much
I think the book
happened
kind of
at the
ended.
end. Yeah, the book kind of ended, but it was like, you know.
Oh, and then Wit is using her.
Yeah, he was like,
so
wait, no, let's get married so you can use your money and not your
Yeah.
uncle.
So like,
And then there's
the
like a
very
letter.
last page was the biggest plot twist I have ever seen, because it was in one page. One page, like this entire book, you're working through their romance, and then you get to the last page, and he's like, "Marry me," and then you turn and it's all epilogue. Inez bought it. What?
Yeah, and it's like, wait, hold on. Yeah, like the uncle needed her to get, or the uncle didn't want her to get married so that he could have control, and then the only way she could have control of her money is if she got married. So it's like, hey, marry me. And then the next page is like, there's this letter. It's like, oh, she bought it. We're gonna get married.
Which the whole
Yeah.
book, he has this like fiance or whatever that he's like engaged to.
Right.
Yeah,
And
and like in his
I
point of
didn't
view,
finish the book, so I don't know what happened there.
she just
but
kind
yeah,
of
reading
didn't.
that
It,
It
it
just
feels like
doesn't
at that
really
point that's just
explain.
them setting up for the next book. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
That's literally what it was. It was like they were like, oh, we need to
a
figure out
last
how to get
page.
people to want to read the next book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just shoved this in and forgot that he had a fiance. Because like even in his point of view, he talked about this fiance.
Mm-hmm.
So like it wasn't just like it was a trick just saying that he had a
Well,
fiance.
but so there was, hang on. In his last chapter,
Their romance was kind of weird in my opinion. It like
yeah,
It was the
it
most.
was
I feel
it was
bad
like a
for
will they
me.
won't they type situation. But
For
then
me, it was the
like,
most interesting part of the book, which is a little
Agreed.
sad.
Yeah.
yeah, but it never turned into a they will. Like nothing
Mhm.
ever happened.
They kissed like the
And then-
one time and he was like, I'm engaged.
Like even the
right,
kiss
well,
was like
there's
kind of like
obviously
oh,
something
okay.
about the telegram that he got. So he got a letter before he went and said, "Marry me."
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was like he sent a letter and he's like,
Yeah,
you
but
should know
he
the
got
address. I
one
did it.
first.
Yeah, he got one.
Oh well, I
Yeah,
remember
so
just
in
I was
his
kind of
last
skimming towards the end.
Official chapter, he's talking about this letter that he got. And hang on. Well, I'll just read it. The telegram had been waiting for me when we returned to Shepherd's. It was not from whom I'd expected. She had never written to me before, not even once. I didn't expect her to cut me out of her life, but she had, thoroughly. So it doesn't say who. I assumed it was the
I think that's the
fiance,
implication.
but it could have been his mom.
he has siblings though, right? And didn't he say
He
that
has
like
a
siblings are the
sister.
most, yeah, sister, like
The
his
sister and her
sister's
brother.
like the most important person to him, like fuck his parents at
Right.
one point he said
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
like maybe the
But
sister.
He's definitely heard from his sister because she like sent the books and things
Yeah.
Oh, right.
so.
Okay.
Okay. The devil damn me. I sat in a trance out on the balcony of my narrow hotel room, fixating on the busy street below, but not really seeing it. The noise rose up, familiar but dim, my mind already hazy from drink. Whiskey, I thought. I squinted at the bottle, the label swimming across my vision. This one really upset me because I was so proud of him for getting over his alcoholism, and now he's
Yeah.
drinking again. Right. Whiskey. Hello, old friend. It was fire going down my throat. It would be hell going back up. I wasn't stopping until I met Oblivion because I could still see Inez's face far too clearly in my mind. I could still remember how she tasted. And so he's like, talking about all of that. And he's talking about his, expiration date of whatever. My time had run out and now duty had rung its final bell. The blank sheet of paper at my elbow stared up at me. It was stark and impatient. Again, I thought of my plan and how it could work if I didn't somehow fuck it up, which was a very real possibility. I grabbed the pen and wrote one line and then my family's home address, sweat dampened my brow. They'll be thrilled to hear from me, their wayward son delivering on his promise. And then at the end, it's the letter that I'm pretty sure that that's the letter
Mhm.
he sent to his parents, which just says Inez fell for it. That's
I think he
one
sent that
line,
letter to
right?
his brother. I
He sent it
think
to someone else though, because I remember he was handing it to the guy to send it, and he's like, "Well, where do you want this to go?" And then he said, well, you should know I've been sending letters here a bunch, or something."
yeah.
Wait,
But
who
then
did
he
he say
said-
that to?
The address, don't you know it already? I asked bitterly. I've sent several of these over the past few days.
Exactly, and you just read that he wrote his parents' address, so like it wouldn't be the same letter.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so here
Yeah.
it's Porter.
So it's
Porter.
specifically being that him talking about Inez, it has to be someone that knows Inez, and his family wouldn't know Inez.
No
So
Inez.
plot twist, my brain is automatically going, what if she's sending it to Inez's father? What if Inez's father is also alive?
Also alive?
And he's sending because he's still in cahoots / working more for her father than for the uncle or something, and like he's keeping the father informed.
That's
Because Inez, like Wit seemed like way more in the know than what like us the readers were
Yeah.
privy
yeah,
to.
no, he definitely knew way more about what was going on than he was letting us know.
Mhm.
Okay, so general thoughts on the book.
I have no thoughts.
I
None?
don't like to DNF books, but I DNF'd this one. And I ended up Googling what happened, so I knew it was happening, and I'm trying to find the same thing I found because it definitely said that Porter is his brother. So I'm trying to find that. But y'all share your thoughts.
I also did not finish it. Historical fiction just tends to not be my thing, and I was really hopeful that this book would because of like the magic aspect in it, but then the magic was like a really light touch to the plot, and didn't like work in like a traditional like it wasn't world breaking, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And I understand why. I understand it's like the last fetters of magic, like that whole thing. Like I think that that's really cool. Um it was really slow to start, in my opinion. Like a lot of the way that she was being and like setting up and like showing us like how resourceful the main character is, I liked that, but at the same time it felt like it took so long for them to get on the expedition, and the biggest intrigue of this book was like Egypt, and like it's set in the time where they were like exhuming mummies and everything
Yeah.
else, and I just expected more of that, and instead we got like almost the first half of the book before they actually set out on an expedition.
Yeah. So I think this is really funny because last year when we read Jade of
Gods of Jade and Shadow.
Gods of Jade and
Yes,
Shadow.
I was thinking about
Okay.
that.
Last year, that book, I wanted this when we read that book. This is what I was looking for in that book. But like, in Mexico and not Egypt, like this is the kind of story I was looking for when I read that book. So on that front, I just think it's really funny because like the Gods of Jade and Shadow, there were only two of us, I think, that didn't like the book.
And
And
I was
now
one of
the
them.
flip side, I'm the
I-
only one that actually kind of liked this book. I did only give it like 3.5 stars, but that's because it was so like hard to trudge through, you know? Like I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the characters. The prose was nice, but it was too in depth, if that makes sense.
The pace just was not there.
Yeah, the pace
Pace
was not there.
so weird because like the setting
Like
was changed
nothing,
fast.
nothing, and then it all happens at once.
Yeah.
And then more
It was
nothing,
so weird.
nothing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like for example, when she was doing her like painting or whatever, and then all of a sudden she'd like discover a trapdoor or something. Like it was so hard to keep track of where they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I could
And they
not
kept
figure out
having the
what was happening.
same conversation over and over and over again. And it was like, we
Yeah.
know you don't want her here. Oh
Yeah,
my
we
god.
get it. We get it.
I
Can
get
we
it.
move on?
shouldn't be
She's still
here.
here.
Have
You
a
can't get rid of her.
fiance. We get it.
Yeah, like and on a side note, I did find the Reddit thread. It's an r/fantasy romance on Reddit, and someone just said, like, hey, I need this spoiled for me. It's from my book club. And like the last bullet point on the spoilers was in the epilogue, Wit's brother is heading to Egypt with a telegram from Wit saying, quote, Inez fell for it. He says something about Wit keeping his word and time to collect. The end.
So
So I
Porter's
guess
his brother.
Porter is his brother.
Yeah.
I think it did say that somewhere in the book, but I don't know.
I was like, who the hell
skimmed
is
a lot of
Porter?
it.
And so I was one of the things I was wondering when I got to the end of that, and of course this is all like kind of forethought to the next book,
Yeah.
which I'm mad about. I don't want there to be a next book. I wanted it to be complete. But you know, it was one of those, I was getting to the last 100 pages and I was like, this is not the end.
Yeah, I didn't know
Like-
that it was a series. I thought it was a standalone, and then I got towards
Same.
the end and I was like, hold on. Wait,
Yeah.
nothing's being resolved. What is happening?
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah, it
But-
was a book, that's for sure. I don't have
It was
strong
a
feelings
book.
toward it. Like, I don't have any strong I disliked it. I don't have any strong
Yeah.
I like it feelings towards it. Like, it was just kind of like a book to me. I skimmed a lot of it because like some of it nothing was happening, or the same thing was happening, or I could not figure out where they were in
Yeah.
space. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so you know how I usually like am really thorough about my notes?
yeah, there's like nothing towards the
I had
end.
to stop. I couldn't continue taking notes because it was slowing me down and I was already so slow reading this book. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But like I really liked the vibe of this book. Like I just wish it was a faster read.
Mhm.
And so for me, like my main thoughts on this is, I mean, it even says it in the description, but it is so The Mummy coded. Like,
But it's like not at the same time. Like, the main points of the Mummy aren't there.
no, but the
It's
like
just that it's
romance,
shit.
the romance and their interactions are
Mhm. I
just so
guess-
The Mummy coded.
I watched The Mummy
Um,
not that long ago for one of my classes, and like the romance in there was way more fulfilling than this romance.
Well,
The-
yeah,
The
because
crocodile scene. The crocodile scene where she falls into the water, very
was the-
mummy.
only
yeah.
like
That was the only scene I like
romance, like-
enjoyed in
yeah,
this
that
book. I
was
was
the
like,
only, like,
Yeah,
romantic scene
I
enjoyed.
liked that scene.
It was like, it's like the Mummy fan fiction.
Okay, I can see that. That I can see. That I can see way more than it
Anyway,
being the
so
Mummy
that's,
mixed with something. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, no, I don't feel like it was mixed with something else. I feel like it was like
A
somebody
Mummy
watched The
fanfiction,
Mummy
yeah.
and was like, I
I
want to
wanna
write a book kind of like this.
I've never heard of the other book that it said that it was like Mummy with
Neither.
whatever. So I have no
What is
idea
it?
what that's about to like be like, oh
Death
yeah,
on the
there's
Nile.
nothing about it. Cause like it could just be
That one
literally
I've read
like
and
that was
it's-
set in Egyptian or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. But the only parts that I had feelings towards was the crocodile scene and then the cousin getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only ones that actually made me be like, oh my god, like two or whatever. Like those I actually had feelings towards.
Yeah.
So and I thought that was insane that they actually killed the cousin. Like,
I know. I was like, this really?
also, I felt it really weird the whole scene where the cousin got kidnapped. It was such a jump from what the series was doing, and then all of a sudden they were like doing Indiana Jones type shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's what
What
that
the
was giving
hell?
Indiana Jones, with them in the like hole together and being like, "Oh my god, I actually love you," and like.
See, my thing with this book was I kept predicting the twists that are like supposed to be completely out of nowhere. Oh my god. Like right before they'd happen. Like, so I texted
Ooh,
her Discord and
same.
I was like, total conspiracy theory. Please let me know if I'm remembering wrong. Didn't they say her parents were missing, presumed dead? My conspiracy theory is they're still alive. 6 minutes later, guys, I thought I was crazy. Less than a chapter later, boom, her mom's alive. And then it
Yeah,
happened
no,
again
the
later.
entire book, I was just like, her parents are alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, like
And then
going
like
into it,
literally like the next day, I was like, look, guys, what if the mom's actually the evil one? I doubt it, but it feels like it's the only interesting thing that could happen left. And then I was like,
yep.
yeah, I Googled it because I'm bored. And no fucking way I did that twice. Like, wouldn't it be funny if blah 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 happened, but it probably won't? Oh shit, it happened. Like
Oh,
just
wait,
like
where
the
is
fact
it?
that
I think I
once,
did
like
actually
whatever,
put that
but
one
The
too.
the
twice.
cliches got leaned into a little hard in very normal and not super interesting ways,
Yeah.
which sucks. Like cliches are good. Cliches are a good thing.
They're
Like
cliches for a
every
reason.
writer leans on them, but if it gets to the point where it's like so predictable, then it's an issue.
Yeah. I didn't write a note on it, but when sorry, side note on this, but back to my original thought. I didn't write a note on it, but when her mom was talking, I was just like, and I think I messaged this. I was like, there's no way her mom's not the bad guy. Like,
I think
but
all of us kind of
also
got to that point
I
and said that.
wanted her mom to be the bad guy because they literally abandoned her for
Yeah,
half
they're already
half
the
of her
bad
life.
guy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. They
Like, her
already
parents
were the bad
are
guys in my
the
eyes at the very
assholes.
beginning of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
the
who
part
abandons their daughter for that long,
For
doesn't take her on a
6 months
single
out of
trip
the year.
there? Yeah,
Right?
constantly missing all of her birthdays,
And it
missing when
makes
she
her
was
feel bad about
deathly
it.
ill, like deathly ill.
Missing Christmas. What parent does that? Like, and then they come back and they're all doting on her. They don't love her. They just feel guilty.
I
That
did
okay,
find it.
here's another thing to support my theory though. Why would her dad send her Cleopatra's ring if he didn't know what her mother was up to?
I
I
think they
think
say
her
he did.
fucking dad's alive. I think her dad's alive, and I think Wit is in correspondence with her dad.
it
And
said in the book.
Inez fell
But
for
he
it
knew.
wasn't about the relationship. It was about Inez falling for her mother's schemes, communicating that to her father.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
like
because
that.
like the whole marriage thing being a scam is really like far-fetched in my brain, and like
Especially
Yeah.
she
with,
did
like,
that.
Wit's
like-
perspective and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like he definitely had feelings for her, and he definitely wouldn't have just been like she fell for it, but oops, like I
No,
do
see,
have feelings for her.
that's what I'm saying. Like
I
Yeah.
think
her
that's a
dad
really
sent
good
her
point.
that ring, maybe not expecting her to like have that connection, but for that to be safekeeping so the mother couldn't find Cleopatra's tomb and
That's
all of that
literally
other
what the
stuff.
mom said. Like in the book, she said that.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't actually read that part.
Yeah, no, the mom said like in the note or however she said it. I think it was
He
in
knew,
like
the
the
dad
second
knew.
note or something.
She was
like-
having an affair with the guy that she was like in cahoots with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
look, a plot twist I didn't see coming. But
So I am gonna read the second one, but I don't
You'll
think I'm
have to
going
let
to
us know.
buy it. I'm going to do an audiobook because
Yeah, you need
I
to just
don't
tell us because I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what happens. But this came out last year, so I don't even know when the second one's gonna come out.
yeah. And I did find your message, Annie, about honestly I'm relieved to know her mom is the villain. Like I hated her and the dad from the start for leaving the girl behind for literally half her life. So just IDK felt full circle something. And Bree said I felt the same way, but I feel so bad for the girl. She's got like no real family.
Yeah.
Just like
Well, and like, I mean, I feel like the uncle was really wrapped up in his own thing, but
Mhm.
I hope that in the next book he's a little bit more welcoming to her because I feel like he could be her family. Like I think he actually cares about her, but he's just so hyper focused on this situation.
Mhm.
Um And like when he went and saved her and Wit, I feel like that was him being like, no, fuck. Yeah, I'm mad at you, but I still love you. Like, can you not
Hey,
try to get
uncle.
yourself killed?
Yeah, I think that point, and then when she was like doing all the paintings and like on his good side before the whole mom thing happened, he was like actually giving her the attention and like actually cared for her and was a real like family to her at that point
That's-
anyway.
That's kind of how I felt about him from the jump, I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't think that he like had any like malicious sort of thing. I thought maybe he might have been like actually selling artifacts on the side, but then we see him having like several conversations and being up in arms and like being really insistent on it, and I just I don't know why I
Yeah,
took him at like kind of face value. Like he just has priorities and like cares about like this thing and can't take care of her while caring about the things that he's super passionate about at the same
Right.
time. So I
It's
kind of
also
just took
so,
him
like-
as yeah, I don't know. I had a hard time liking him because of how like dismissive he was of her constantly, but
Yeah.
I did from the jump think that he actually did care about her. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
figured eventually he would be put into that position of like the only family of hers that actually matters.
Yeah.
See, the
Well,
thing
now
that
he really is.
what hit me hard about the parents abandoning her was the fact that when she showed up to Egypt, like there's a side of her family that she didn't even know, and it was like way more carefree and happy, and that's what actually hit me because it's like
Yeah.
that hurts even more than just being abandoned. Like if it's like there's these parents that you don't even know that are way happier without you,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and like that hurts more than just being abandoned. Like
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
like
yeah.
if they went to Egypt and they weren't acting like the way they were, like they acted the same as when they were home to when they were in Egypt, like yeah, it would have sucked being abandoned for it, but it's like, you know, but that hit even harder, you know?
Yeah.
Because like they're happy without you.
Yeah, which just sucks.
Yeah.
Just sucks.
Oh.
And Nicole, I think it was Nicole, who isn't here with us today, made a great comment that her feedback was this needed a meaner editor. She's not wrong. She's not wrong at
That was the one comment that she wanted to make sure we included.
Yeah. My feedback needs a meaner editor. I'm sorry I'm not a mean enough editor, you guys.
all.
No, but it had a
Uh,
decent storyline. Like the storyline itself was good. It was interesting. It
Mm.
was just some parts needed to be different.
right.
Cut down.
But
Yeah.
you know what? It's still not the best, though. It's still not the worst book that we've read together.
No.
What would you say the worst book was?
I would say probably the Death Romance book.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Yeah, you're
Death's
right.
Yeah,
Obsession.
I was gonna say Death's Obsession was like
kinda forgot
definitely
that
the
one
worst
existed.
one.
Or like the ghost one, the ghost kid one.
Oh, yeah, I DNF'd that.
Yeah, I DNF that so fast.
I don't think I
Well, at
even
least-
made it like a
Wait,
couple chapters
I'm not even
in.
remembering that one. Did I not read it too?
I don't think any of us, I think one of
I
us
finished
maybe
it.
finished
What
it.
was it
Yeah, I
called?
think Abby and Nicole maybe finished it. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was that one TikTok
Neither.
author that, like,
Lee Howard and the Ghosts of Mildred Manor.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
We wanted to support a TikTok author because his whole like demeanor was like really cute and
Mhm.
yeah, and then
wholesome.
there's a reason why he wasn't super I think when I was in middle school or elementary school, I would have eaten that up. But I
Mhm.
think I've grown too much to understand
I
why
made
it's not a good
20-year-old.
Oh,
book.
it was yeah, it was definitely partially a disconnect from like because we were seeing a lot of her actions as like really stupid and childish because
Mhm.
from our point of view they were, but if we were teens, there's a chance that we would have had a different outlook on it. So
No,
Exactly.
I remember my feeling about that book was that it felt like a book about a teen that was written by an old man.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Yeah, but I feel like
Mm.
when I was younger, I wouldn't have known
Noticed.
that.
charged
You know what I
like
mean? Like I
judged
wouldn't have
that
seen it as
harshly
that.
slash yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have just judged it as, hey, this is a teen acting this way. Like I wouldn't have judged it as, oh, sounds like a teen written by an old man.
Yeah.
Because like I was not grown up enough to catch those like you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think that's why if I was in middle school or late elementary school, I probably would have read the book and like enjoyed it.
Yeah.
because it's definitely a YA book.
I
Anyways.
literally, and to go along with what you're saying, yeah, I feel the exact same in terms of that, because when I was in middle and high school, I devoured literally every single book put in front of me, and I liked every single book put in front of me. And
Oh, literally.
See, when I was in that age, I was reading very inappropriately aged
I
books.
mean,
So I mean, I read
same.
Pandora. We went to the library, and I wouldn't look in the children's section anymore because I was bored with the kids section. I went and I found Pandora by Anne Rice when I was 12 or 13, and I read that cover to cover, and I loved it. And I didn't read any of her other books. I read it as a one-off. But that is not appropriate for a 13-year-old girl.
No. See, I was and when you say that, my brain immediately goes to Christine Feehan, because that's who I was reading at like that age. And she's like a vampire smut author and has like an innumerable amount of books. And I remember going down to the Santa Rosa library with my nanny, and I picked out a book, and I was like, oh, I want this one, because they were having a book sale. And she handed it to me, and she looks at it and she goes, this looks like a smut, and she swats me with it.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
That's-
No, I was reading appropriately aged books, I think, at that point. But
Me
I
too.
started ACOTAR pretty early. I think I started at like end of middle school, maybe early high school. So
The first
that
like
was probably my
smut I
first, like-
read was Red, White, and Royal Blue. So, which
You're so
my
precious.
mom
And
recommended to
then
me.
Death's Obsession, which probably just ruined the whole genre for you.
Well, I no, because I didn't read Red, White, and Royal Blue with y'all. I read it like years and years and years ago.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
turned the month after we read
Mhm.
Red, White, and Royal Blue.
No,
So
Yeah, the first smut I ever read was I accidentally discovered what a lemon was by reading Stargate fan fiction. I was 11.
yeah, my first smut was after the Harry Styles fan fiction that was on Wattpad. That was my first smut experience, and that was in middle school. And that's a real book and movie now.
Nope,
Which is
yeah, mine was
insane.
straight up just vampire smut. Really, I honestly, I stand by Christine Feehan. I love her. Like, she's great.
Anyway,
Supporting
to
a
get back
local
on
author and everything.
On topic.
let's
What
get
was
back
the
on topic
topic?
because there's no smut in this book we read this month.
There is no smut. Yes, this is a child-friendly
There
book.
is
One
barely
kiss.
even a kiss. But yeah, that book was a book.
The
was
book was a
good.
book.
We read it.
That is my
Partially.
final thought on it. I honestly have nothing more to say about it because there wasn't much that I could not think about, but like that I had thoughts towards or emotions towards besides what I've already talked about. So
Yeah.
One thing I will say that I really liked was all of the little illustrations in it.
Mm-hmm.
oh, I did have something to say about those. I thought the style of the illustrations was a little weird for the book. I thought they were gonna look different, but they kind of gave a cartoony feel.
Yeah.
And like she just did like outlines, you know what I mean? Instead of
Right.
like
Yeah, it would have made more sense if it was like
That.
the
Oh, those are really
illustrations,
cool.
right?
those
'Cause I did an
didn't see because
ebook.
I had it on Kindle Unlimited, but like I meant
Yeah.
throughout the book, like when she drew it.
Right.
That's what I was
So
talking
that would have made more sense because like obviously that's wit,
And that is a far more attractive man than the one she sketched. Holy
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
crap.
Oh, yeah.
and then let me see.
I get it now.
I get
Yeah,
it.
the sketch of wit is like so much
It's-
arrogance.
Like it's a good like way better than I could draw. Like, oh my gosh. But it
Right.
looked like she just like put a picture that she Googled, I guess, into it instead of making it look like someone drew it.
Right. Well, and the thing
that
is
makes
too is that it's like, you know, she's writing Inez as though she's like this fantastic, oh, there it is.
Chapter
As though
9.
she's like this really fantastic artist and that, you know, the likeness is
Uncanny.
yeah, uncanny, she
And she like gets his
captures
eyes just right with the emotion behind them. I was like, it's a sketch, guys.
And there's no shadow
He's
or
over
like
it.
anything. Like there should have been shadow or smudges or something to make it look like it was
Right
drawn
there.
instead of like
Like drawn in charcoal
Written
too.
Charcoals,
Like
yeah. Because doesn't she mention having charcoals in her kit? So you'd
Mhm.
yeah.
think.
It was just like it kind of made me be like, okay, whatever about the painting thing. Like,
There it is.
okay, it looks a little different than what I remember, but it still looks off.
I don't know, for the time period, that probably is like way better than what standards for like
Right,
our
but
standards would be for it.
like to say that it's
That guy. It's just
that is
like
not the same
nothing
man.
else, you
Not the
know,
same man at all.
if you're gonna have those kind of illustrations in the front, they should match.
Yeah.
Because like she's supposed to be like able to draw it identical and stuff, and like his face was off. There was something
Yeah.
off about that face. It was an uncanny valley face. Like
Yeah, he was suspicious.
yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
So,
Like when I saw it, I was like, okay.
all right, ratings.
I think I gave it a 3. I might have given it lower than that. I can't quite remember. That was at the beginning of the month, to be honest.
I DNF,
Right.
so I don't really have a rating.
Yeah, I also didn't finish.
I mean, I feel like a DNF is just 0 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how my
yeah.
book rating app goes, is it just doesn't let you rate it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
did
rough.
3.5 stars. Like I said earlier, again, I liked the book. I would have liked it more if it moved faster.
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I
wasn't so
gave it a 3.
repetitive.
I just looked. I gave it a
Okay.
3. Just like last book's month, I didn't have any strong feelings like towards it, so it's like in the road. But last month's book, it was more like I hated it and I liked it at the same time, so it made it even.
oh my God, was Bunny last month?
Bunny was last month. It
Bunny.
doesn't feel like it, does it?
No.
It has been such a long like week and a half for
I
me.
loved
because
Bunny so much
right?
though. I'm really sad that I missed last month's meeting because I honestly did not think I was going to like that book, and
Did
I
you-
loved it.
Did you listen to it or watch our meeting at all?
No, I didn't get I'm so everywhere right now. I cannot like find time to even listen to some of the new albums that I've been wanting to listen to
Mhm.
coming out, so
Mm.
it's been a time.
Well, you definitely should because we had a lot of good points in there, and
Yeah, no, I need to
I think
because
Bunny
I
was our
really liked
longest
Bunny.
meeting.
Was
We
it?
talked
It
and
was
talked
there
and
was
talked.
so
Uh-huh.
I literally had notes to talk about too, and I just
I had to cut out so much from last meeting, and it was still like an hour and
we
a
sat
half.
and talked about horror movies for a little bit though. To be
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I cut out all of the horror movie
yeah, there
conversation.
was
So
points that like it had nothing to do with the book, so that might be why it was long. But yeah, we just kept going. There was so much to talk about with that book because of
Yeah.
how
there
There's a-
is so much.
but-
There's so much.
if anyone wants to
Mhm.
know what we talked about, go listen to that one.
Mhm.
And Sadie,
That
go
was a good
listen to it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
need to.
And then you can send us your comments so we can like.
Yeah, no, I'm
Right.
100% going to because I had so much to say
So
about
many
that book.
thoughts.
Like,
Yeah.
like if we're talking about like out of all the books that we've read so far, ones that I have surprisingly been obsessed with, Bunny is that book. Like I did not think that because I'm not normally into like just like normal basic plot,
yeah.
Mhm.
like non-fictious-esque plots essentially, but oh, it's so good.
So, what are
have-
you guys reading?
I was gonna say the same thing.
There you go. Same brainwave.
I'm
even
not
from different
reading, I'm
states.
writing.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I got a
this
new
be?
idea and it has nothing to do with what I had already asked you guys to read. But I kind of like just went out of left field. I've written, and this is including outlining, brainstorming, character like stuff. I have written over 300 pages in less than 2 weeks, handwritten
Ooh.
in these two
Handwritten?
notebooks.
Handwritten? That's
Girl.
That's insane.
crazy.
I
Oh my
handwrite all of my first drafts. So this
All
is
right,
like
Neil
my
Gaiman.
brainstorm. It's like my brainstorm / like outline notebook. And then this is the actual book that I have started. And it's 80 something pages.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, I handwrite all of my first drafts. But I
That's
am
insane.
going with this. I am so excited over it. So it's another like horror fantasy.
Well, I'm excited to read it once
Me
you
too.
get it
Yeah.
somewhere where we can read it.
Yeah, that's why
Something tells
I'm
me
so behind on
Bunny
my
inspired
reading.
that a little bit with the horror fantasy there.
Oh yeah.
I would say yes, but I tend that's what all of my writing tends to be, is a horror
Gotcha.
fantasy sort of thing.
Got
Even
it.
like even the other Marked the Vampire one that I'm working on, that's like also horror fantasy. Horror is just my
Okay.
genre.
The only thing I read recently was this next month's book because like I already read that because it's July right now. So
Yeah.
or not July, sorry, June.
June.
It's June already, so I've already
Yeah.
read this month's book.
I've had a rough like week and a half or so, so I never actually finished Throne of Glass last month. So I'm gonna finish that this month and read this month's book and maybe read Carval next. I think that's
You
next
should,
month.
it's good. Annie, what have you been reading?
So I've
Oh, I have been reading Bridgerton actually.
yeah,
Yes.
I've been reading Bridgerton. I've been I'm on book 3 and I read
Yeah, I
half
just
of it.
finished book 3.
I started that yesterday at 5:30 and I am 50% of the way through it as of this morning at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think that one I rated higher than the other two. I don't know what it was about it. I just could not stop reading it.
Yeah.
It's really good. That
I
one's
was gonna
good.
get those ebooks to be driving down to visit my ex, but then he became my ex. So
I know that's sad, but like the way that you said it was kind of funny.
it's okay. My manager and I make jokes about it all the time now. He's like, "Hey, you could go dump the popcorn if you wanted." Like, "Oh, Abby, sorry you're breaking up over the radio right now."
Oh my
Like,
god.
Oh my god, your
it
manager's
was
an
a total
asshole.
Freudian
Okay,
slip, but
dealing
then
with
he
it with
told me
humor
about
is
it, and I was like,
great.
"Brian, please keep making jokes like that. It's so fun. Please." And he was
That's
like,
hilarious.
"I will, Abby. Like, if you give me permission, I'll do it." I was
I'll
like,
keep
"Brian,
doing
I
it."
need
Yeah.
this right now."
So I highly recommend Bridgerton for like getting you out of a reading slump
Oh, yeah.
because I was in a reading slump and I was like watching season 3 of Bridgerton and I've been so freaking hooked on it. Like I've watched the first half of season 3 times.
I mean that carriage scene.
As I just remembered that my dad got this for me for Christmas 2 years ago.
There you go.
I forgot I
I
have
borrowed
it.
it from the
So
library randomly because I was like, I just need something short just to read real quick. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it, whatever. I want to try one of these, like, these romances with that kind of like, stuff. So I was like, I'll try. And I was like, oh, that was good. And then the second one is on Spotify for like audio listening. And so I was like, okay, I'll read the second one, whatever. And then that one was super good. And I was like, okay, I guess I got to keep reading. And then season 3 is not book 3.
Mhm.
So I have to find book 4 somewhere, but it's not on Kindle Unlimited. And
I started
guys, there's a
book
family tree.
1.
Sorry, there's a family tree in the back of this book.
yeah.
I started book 1 at like somewhere around the 1st of the month and I'm already halfway through book 3.
Quick reads. They're good.
Yeah,
but
they're really quick. They're good. It's the interactions are just, I mean, I'm sitting there last night just cracking up laughing as I'm reading what's going through Benedict's head as he's like, and then he goes and jumps out a window to go jump in the lake. And I'm like, this is so good.
they're good. They're good.
Not
Not to
I
spoil too much,
also
no.
started reading Bookshops and Bone Dust.
Was it good?
It's good. It's really good so far.
I
I'm
love it.
I'm like not halfway through it yet. Because what I've discovered is that my son really likes when I read him my books for bedtime.
Mhm.
So I can read a book that I want to read while I read him to sleep. So I'm doing that with him with
That's so cute.
Bookshops and Bone Dust. And then I also purchased You Can't Spell Treason Without Tea last night when we were at Target because I was just like, oh, it's another cozy fantasy. I can read this to him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
my niece and
also-
nephew are coming to visit, and I want to start reading her more of like the Tress and stuff. So to get
Yeah.
her more into reading, because she was kind of into it for a little bit, and then she stopped. And like my older sister hates reading, so she's not gonna help her. So I have to try to at least get one of them into reading, so I can have someone else besides my dad in my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been going with cozy fantasy and like he just falls asleep while I'm reading to him. But if I stop reading, he'll like go, Mama, more reading, more reading.
Well, you got to read him all the Harry Potters before he turns 9, though, because you can do your 9 3/4 and have him choose his house. How old
I
is
mean, that'll be pretty easy to do.
With
for-
my dad was Harry Potter. There's still to this day a chapter of Harry Potter I've never read because I fell asleep while he was reading them to me.
That's funny.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep, but yeah, love reading with parents before bed. It's
Yeah.
wholesome.
I have a single, like, it's not vague. I have a single question / request.
Okay.
So when the new Hunger Games book comes out next year, can that be the book
Yes.
club book of
Yes.
the next
We can do
month, or
that.
like, fuck yes.
Yes.
I
Which
just-
also
I've been thinking about it so much.
assignment for all of us before that happens is that we have to reread all of the Hunger Games books.
I'm
so that
never
so
read them.
down to reread them.
I have
I've never
all
read a single
of-
one.
They
Oh,
literally
I-
best
for
YA.
heartbreak.
I'm not even
So
I'm
hard.
best YA series.
I went
best YA
so
series.
hard into Harry Potter. I couldn't do anything. Like I legitimately did Harry Potter plays. I was so hard into Harry Potter.
Listen.
So I never read anything else.
Here, you can borrow them, Abby.
Perfect.
I have
I
them.
finished the third book. I was like 21-ish, 2021. I finished the third book and I screamed, threw the book across
I
the
kn-
room,
and I know
and
everything
curled
that
up in a
happens.
ball crying. And
That's
that's
why I
where
don't
my
wanna read
roommate
them.
found me.
I'm so scared to read Mockingjay because I have a little bit of an unhealthy attachment to Finnick Odair. And I have seen his death scene and I had a panic attack. And I could
Yeah.
hear like him screaming Katniss going in my
okay.
brain for like
No,
15
stop. I have
minutes
my makeup
after.
done. I don't want to cry right now.
And so
Okay, but we
I'm
also need
so
to
scared.
read Serpents and Songbirds. or whatever.
Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
that would
Yes,
go
I
along
haven't
with
read
that.
that or watched the movie, so I have. To
I
do
haven't
that
read
before
them
that comes
since
out.
I read Songbirds and Snakes, which I've been wanting to, so that just gives me an excuse. I just oh I
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
so I
I
think
know
what I'm gonna
what
do is I'm gonna
chapter-
read that one. I'm gonna read the new
Someone-
one, and then I'll
yeah.
reread Hunger Games.
Someone tell
Yeah.
me when the chapter is that Finnick dies so I can skip it. Because I won't be able to handle it. Like my friend and I were watching all the movies together and we got halfway through Mockingjay 1 and then we got really busy and I was like, hey, look, I don't think I'll be able to watch Mockingjay 2 because I can't watch Finnick die again. I can't do it. Like I can't. Me and Sam Claflin, that's my
Yeah.
man. That's my man. I don't care that he's like twice my age. He's mine and has a wife.
He's mine.
He's
Okay,
mine.
is there anything that we need to talk about to put into the episode? Because my laptop's literally about to die.
Next month's book is Lightlark.
Lark.
And that's
Which
all
I've
the-
already finished, but I'm gonna hold my
speaking
opinions.
of like Hunger Games esque vibes.
kind of.
The premise. It's a death island.
I haven't
Yeah,
started it yet.
It's really not like Hunger Games. Trust me.
Okay,
it makes
okay.
it sound like it is, but it's not.
Yeah, I
Like
haven't
it
started
sounds
it
like
yet, but
it's
I'm
way more
excited.
Well,
competition. and
I've
stuff
only
than
read
it
the
is.
prologue.
Can we talk about the details though? Like it's so pretty.
Why is it? Why is the printed weird on that though? The title. I thought that's what you were gonna comment out. It's
I'm
like
so
in the
sad. I
margin.
accidentally bought mine in
Oh, yeah, it
paperback.
is
I'm gonna
printed
give
weird.
it away and rebuy it when I'm done, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm
Um,
gonna buy it and buy the second one because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anymore because I've already read the book.
Well,
but
I've
actually
only
gonna go
read the
get it
prologue.
after this.
I've only read the prologue and I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I'm gonna like this. I have to get the
But
second
definitely-
one. Like
don't go into it thinking.
Oh,
oh, there it goes.
Whoop.
Don't go into it thinking Hunger. The only reason why I think Hunger Games is because it literally says every 100 years the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, so the base premise is like a death game.
Yeah.
which with what I've heard about this book on TikTok, doesn't surprise me that it might have started off as like a
I've heard so many mixed things about this book. Like I've heard people be super pissed off because they feel like she didn't like what she was talking about the book being was completely different than what the book
Mm.
actually is. And then I've also heard like a lot of people being upset because like saying that she's just, you know, some rich kid who wrote a book and her sister paid for it to be published.
hmm,
But I want to read it without thinking of any of that stuff
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
want to see if I enjoy
Yeah.
it for what it is. So I actually didn't watch any of her videos about what it's about.
yeah, I've
Um
never seen any of those.
yeah, so I'm literally going into this blind.
Yeah, I'm actually
Same.
gonna go get it and like I'm meeting up with a friend in like 30 minutes to go walk around Barnes and Noble and get it. So
Nice. Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy the next one, even if I don't like this one, just because it's so pretty.
so pretty. It's so pretty.
I
We'll
bought it because
see.
it was pretty.
It is really pretty.
I have hope for this next lineup of books. It's this, and then I think it's The Naturals or House in the Cerulean Sea, then The Naturals, then Name of the Wind.
Mm.
So I've got hope.
We got this. We're gonna do good.
Got this,
Okay,
guys. After this month, I need it.
So yeah, I guess
Good.
have
Yeah.
a good day.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Catch
next
you guys
month.
later.
Bye.
You guys, bye.